It's the thing all Dragon Ball Z fans want to see, clearly. Everyone wants a good fight, and this is the best fight. It's incredible. But me as like a guy who loves Dragon Ball lore and like understanding like the canon, this has some really deep, really effective historical storytelling in it too. And the scenes with Bardock and Goku's mother, it's a short one, but it is probably the highlight of the whole film in my opinion.
The history of the Saiyan stuff is amazing and really fills in a lot of questions we had, and it's done beautifully, and it really gives you backstory and it asks a lot of questions and answers a lot of questions. I will tell you the fight is one of the best fights in all of Dragon Ball, and I include like, remember how awesome the Jiren fight was? Yeah, it's at least that awesome, if not cooler.
Because it is a different Broly. It's Toriyama's vision of Broly. So it's a different Broly, and I have to say it's a much better Broly. I knew the original very well and didn't have much backstory. Didn't have much development. There really wasn't much background to him. And I think that may have been one of the main things that myself and even fans of Broly would have liked to have changed. They would love to have known more about him and like, why does he do what he does and where did, something with a little more substance than, oh, there was a baby crying next to him and he freaked out.
One thing that fans should remember, and I think you may have mentioned this in your question, is that this is Vegeta at the end of Super. Some fans who watch the dub haven't gotten there. I can tell you that the Vegeta that's established already at the beginning of Super and midway through Super is the Vegeta you see at the end of Super. He's still the family man. He's still the guy who cares for his wife. He's like definitely vastly different than the Vegeta we were introduced to. But one thing that Vegeta has at the beginning of this Broly film is a lot of experience and temperament that he never used to have before. Vegeta was always known as like the kind of the hot-tempered, always angry about stuff, always frustrated, the guy who gets pissed off at a moment's notice. You'll be surprised at how much temperament he has when he meets Broly in this film, because you would think, Vegeta sees another Saiyan, he's ready to just like go at their throat and chew their face off and chew them and spit them out and stuff like that. In this particular case, you're going to see a much more reserved Vegeta, but not the Vegeta that you're used to from the other Broly movies where he was just pissing his pants the entire movie.
I think that her trajectory as a character and as a person has been amazing because she's gone from this cute, sassy little girl that just wanted a boyfriend to a really great role model for women and girls. She's strong. Every guy in the universe is afraid of her, apparently. And as my fiance likes to point out, she got a hit on Beerus before Goku did. So she might have gotten it back, but still. But yeah, I absolutely love her. She's a big part of my life.
Well, I think it's really important, especially considering the fact that I don't believe that Akira Toriyama created Bardock when they made the movie, but he liked the character, so he started incorporating it into the manga and everything. So he kind of made it canon at that point, right? So it's kind of cool. It's not kind of, it's really cool to be able to see what Akira Toriyama's vision is for this character and to be able to play it the way he would like to see it.
I love the fact that in spite of his power, he's still of a cranky curmudgeon, and he loves sort of the finer things as he perceives them to be, which for him are great cuisine. I love the fact that he's not a malevolent sort of force, but that he's restless, and I think that restlessness is what sort of makes him interesting. He's the idea that he might be sort of bored being 10 million years old or however old he is, and in his role as a destroyer. I think there's some monotony, which I think is why he's excited when he's first awakened with that prophecy and with that dream about getting to fight someone that might be on his level, someone that might be equal to him.
No, he's not really scared of anything. It is. It's that he's amused. There's a bunch of children having a little slap fight, and he's like, oh, this is fun. Oh, look, his hair color changed. Did you do what I told you to do? He did what I told him to do after 150 episodes. It's what, 130? I don't know. Yeah. It's, and then so no, he's not threatened by any of it. He's glad he's being entertained. Most of his life is watching after a very irritable little cat who likes to break stuff. That's his job. His literal job is to watch after a whiny cat. So watching these little Saiyans is just fun for him. And no, I don't think he's threatened by anything. I think that he understands when they, like, if somebody, like, were to walk up and slap Zeno, he'd gasp, he'd be like, what? Or he might actually he'd start going, what? That's actually one of my favorite lines in all of Dragon Ball that I did. Now, I can't remember what happens, but something happens and Bulma just slaps Beerus and they go, ooh! Because the mouth just had, I covered my mouth and I was like, can I do like a ooh? And they were like, yeah, do it. It's in there.
Although, I would say he is the same guy that he was in the movie, just if he had different life circumstances. You know, so you get to see a slightly kinder, gentler version of Bardock, but it's still Bardock, without a doubt, you know.
I have a special place in my heart for Trunks. I mean, he is my son, but other than that, I find future Trunks really fascinating because we spend so much time with young Trunks. It's really cool. Like, I can't think of, I'm not a mom myself, but I try to imagine how a mom would feel if she got to see how her child grew up. And like, oh my God, I did a good job. Like, they're not a lazy bum sitting at home. He's out saving the world. Like, yay me. I'm a good mom. So I think that that's really cool. And there's a lot of drama, and I loved playing future Bulma because she is so strong, and that's when hope kind of came into my brain, because you know that's what she writes on the side of the time machine. And future Bulma, for me, that my motivation was hope. She's hopeful, like whether it's that Trunks is going to go back and save the world, or she's, you know, that the world is going to finally, like Zamazu's going to disappear and everything's going to be okay. That hope I then brought back to regular Bulma, and make everything, all of her choices come from a place of hope. Whether it's hope that her husband will succeed, or hope that her best friend will beat the big bad guy, or whatever it may be, her outlook on life now is just hope. So that was a big turning point for me in that character.
It's like, well, if I can't have the greatest fighter in the universe, at least I'll have the greatest cuisine. And so it opens the door to a lot of silliness, and I think but I think there's some method to that madness. I don't think it's as much silliness as I think there's a building in of the idea that in Beerus we don't have a one-dimensional character that is just sort of destined to either plague our heroes with menace or to simply kind of sweep in sort of and grant them their wish and solve all their problems. He is his own. On his own, he is very human. I guess in a nutshell, I love how human he is in spite of whatever he is. Right. So.